Hey everyone, it's Colby Cooke here. Today I wanted to discuss something with you that you might not think is important until the time is too late. And with that being said, the video that I'm going to show you today is making sure you maintain your indoor and outdoor AC systems. It's springtime now. We're just getting into our first hot days of the year. And with that being said, a lot of people don't think about it. Maintaining a system that could cost you $5,000 to $10,000 to install a new one. With proper maintained system that you maintenance it once or maybe even twice a year, depending on whether that be the beginning of spring and fall or just one time, usually the beginning of spring. Maintaining your system can save you a lot of money in the long run, whether that be energy costs per month, having components go out, and that might happen in the middle of summer when temperatures are 90 to 100 degrees, and you need somebody to come out as soon as possible, and that's when us AC techs are completely swamped with work and we're not able to get out to you as soon as possible, and there you are stuck in your house for 2 or 3 days, maybe even a week without proper cooling. So today I want to discuss with you how we go about maintaining these systems, what we're looking at, and if I was to come out and maintain your system at your house, what I would do, and usually just tell you different things that you as a homeowner can do to make sure that you're not doing anything that can damage the system. But the first thing that I'll do whenever I get to your house would be I'd walk in and turn your thermostat to cooling, and bump it down a few degrees to make sure that your outdoor system is kicking on, your indoor system is kicking on, and that your thermostat's working properly. The next thing I'd want to do is walk around all your vents and make sure you're having proper airflow, whether they're overhead vents or on your floor vents, maybe even in your wall. Check and make sure that you're having adequate airflow coming out of each vent, and that would kind of indicate a problem that we need to look at later on while we go through the different checks in the system. Once we know that everything is getting the signal to turn on, whether that be the indoor unit, outdoor unit, and your thermostat's all working properly, what I would do is I would run your system, and I'd come outside to your outdoor unit and go ahead and hook my gauges up. I'm going to give your outdoor unit a look over, and whether that be take off the grates, depending on how, if your system hasn't been maintained in 5 to 10 years, which is not uncommon because a lot of people don't think to do it. You could have different things caked up inside your coil right here. While this is running, this fan is pulling air, unfiltered air, through your coil and exhausting the air out of the top, and that's what's using to cool your refrigerant back down in your condensing coil. So this is going to be pulling dirt and debris and get sucked up and caked up inside your coil fins and make this unit not work properly. So with that being said, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to kill the power to your outdoor unit. We'll go through the process of taking your fan off, taking your grates off around your unit, and we can just take a water hose and clean this off. While everything's turned off, we'll take it and clean it from the inside out. Now, if you haven't cleaned your system at all and you got a lot of caked on debris, we can also chemically clean your coil. I wouldn't recommend doing that every year, but it is something that you need to think about doing maybe every 1 or 2 or 3 years, and especially maybe the first time I come out, depending on how dirty it is. If you got a lot of backed up debris, that chemical is going to react to all the dirt and debris in there and really foam it out and push it out of the coil. Once we get done doing all that, I will go through the process of taking this door off right here. All right, now that we've got the panel off, this is what most AC units look like. Now there's different variations, so there will be kind of different components in each, but the main things that you're going to be looking for whenever we get in here are these little stink bugs and different ants and spiders that may crawl in there. Believe it or not, I've seen bugs get in here and short out your board by touching different components at the same time, and spiders get in here, and maybe even if you have a straight AC unit, you might cover your unit up during winter time, and that would just invite rats and mice and all different kind of critters inside your unit that can chew on these wires. And what we're going to be looking at here is the shape that your contactor's in. This is basically like the on and off switch for your compressor inside your unit, which is the heart of your whole AC system. If you're having pits and this contactor is extremely old, that contactor may become weak and may not work properly. That's something that I'll look at. Also, I'm going to be looking at your capacitor, which is this component right here. a lot of times that's what kicks on your outdoor fan, and it's kind of like a little jump start boost to help get that motor running. And it also works for your compressor, to kickstart your compressor. And what we're looking for here is just to make sure all your wires are properly connected. We're also looking to see if this has swelled on you. This is your defrost board. We're going to go through and make sure all your wires are properly hooked up, and we're going to be looking to make sure none of your wires have been rubbed due to the vibration of the chassis. Make sure everything's nice and tight inside here, and if there is anything wrong, then that's something that we can discuss, but that's just a generic overview of what we're looking at when it comes time to look inside your outdoor panel on your outdoor unit. All right, so we've transitioned from checking out your outdoor unit. Now we're looking into the indoor unit. This is the indoor air handler, so this is what's going to actually be blowing air through your house. As you can see on my system, I have my return coming into the bottom here. That's what's sucking in air from your house, and then it's supplying air through the top. What we're going to be looking for on your return or your supply line is we're going through to make sure that your insulation looks good on your supply line and your return line. If we see any spots that are tore or ripped or mice or anything's taken out, those are things that we're going to want to fix. They can cause condensation problems in your house, and it can also just warm your air up before it gets to your vent, and which can cause major problems with cooling or heating your home. Depending on whatever season it is. Going back to what we discussed about going around and checking your vents, if there's a vent that we decide, hey, maybe this vent isn't blowing properly or no air is coming out of it at all, we're gonna walk over to the vent here and check to make sure the connection's good, and we'll also make sure that it looks good in your ceiling, where it's connected to your boot or your register, depending on whatever you wanna call it. We're just gonna give that a basic overview. As you can see on this system, I have a condensate pump, so as this unit runs, it's going to create condensation from hot and cold air coming together. And my system is designed to pump out this condensate, and it'll pump it outside. Some people just have a hard PVC line ran, whether it's in the attic, it may be dumped out the side of your house or whatever. Going back to the condensate pump, we're just going to make sure that it is working properly. Make sure that the lines are cleaned out, blown out properly, and that everything's secured like it should be. And that'll really cut down on problems in the future. Every unit should be trapped, which is what we have going on here. And we need to make sure that that's properly cleaned out too, because as with anything, sitting water, which you'll have sitting water in this during the summertime, algae is tend to build up inside of there, and if you're not creating condensate all winter long, then you'll have dirt and dust, and then as soon as it gets wet for the first time, it likes to gunk up and really cause problems, whether you have a condensate pump or your lines ran straight out. So what we like to do is we like to use a compressed nitrogen and blow these lines out. And those are just things that we'll look at walking up to the unit. The next thing I'm gonna do is take off these panels on this unit and look at the shape of the indoor unit. Now that we've got your panels off your indoor unit, we're able to see what's going on inside. The different components that we're gonna be checking during our routine maintenance is gonna be the shape of your A-coil. We're going to be making sure none of these little lines are rubbing against each other, and just the shape of the overall construction of your drain pan. Make sure you don't have any cracks that we can see physically, and make sure we don't have any built up debris down here in the drain that could be clogging it. We're also going to be looking at your blower. We want to make sure that your blower wheel is pretty clean. As you can see here, if you have built up debris, if it hasn't been cleaned at all, you may have to take a brush or something to kind of clean that blower wheel off. Something that I also like to do whenever I'm doing a preventative maintenance on a homeowner's unit is I like to wipe all this down, just to kind of get the dust and debris out of there. The cleaner anything is, the longer it'll last you. This is your electrical panel. So we're just gonna go around and check and make sure all these wires look like they're connected properly. Everything's nice and tight. Everything's still plugged in. Inside the cabinet right here is gonna be your fins. It's the same way with the outdoor unit. And as this pulls air through, depending on how often you change your filters, which is the single most important thing you can do for your AC system, is change your filters regularly. Some people have a filter at the bottom of the unit in the return side. I have mine in the return and the grill itself in my house. We want to be changing those filters at least 3 or 4 times a year. With clogged filters, it's going to cause a strain on your compressor, on the blower motor, and those are all things that you want to avoid doing. So the more often we can change your filters, the better. Whenever I come to somebody's house, I like to change their filters. We can also discuss bringing multiple filters and doing multiple filter changes throughout the year. But the reason that is we're going to try to keep as much dirt off this coil as possible. I personally run the thinnest filter you can find, just a pleated filter. You want to stay away from the 3M filters that talk about deodorizing and multi-washing filters. You're not really looking to get any of that out of your AC system. All you're basically doing at that point is putting a clogged filter back into your home right from the start, and cause problems before you ever even turn your system on. So I like just to use a pleated or non-pleated filter, just a generic filter, and change them out as often as possible. I would not go longer than 3 months or 4 months without changing a filter. And something so simple that a lot of people overlook can save you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in the longevity of your AC system. If you do have a dirty coil, get into this also. We can go through and clean your indoor coil also. I like to use a sprayer, a bean sprayer, a handheld sprayer, and we can chemically clean your coil also on your indoor unit, which is not needed every year, but depending on when the last time it was done, it may be a good time to go ahead and get it done now. Once we get all this put back together, I'm going to walk you upstairs. Right here is my return in my house. I'm filtered here. So if you have an indoor filter, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to open this up, check out your filter inside, make sure all your grates are nice and clean. Make sure this is not obstructed. You never want to have anything set in front of your return. That can cause major problems in the long run. You want to make sure most of your vents are opened. Yeah, there might be a room in your house that you don't worry about keeping as hot or cold, but your AC system was designed for your entire house. When people start closing rooms down and say, well, we don't use that room anymore, or we don't use this room anymore, and we don't care if it gets heated or cooled, that's going to cause extra strain on your AC system also, because that system was sized properly to be put in your home. So that's a few things people don't really think about inside their home that can affect their performance of their AC system. But those are all things that we do not need to overlook. So now that we've gone through and cleaned everything and made sure everything is working properly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to your system and I'm going to bump it down. That way we know that it's going to kick on here in a minute. My AC is going to start running. We just heard the click. It's going to start pulling air now. And we're going to make sure my outdoor unit turns on properly. All right, now that we've got our thermostat set to cool, we've run the temperature down so we know our unit should be coming on, our indoor unit's on. Everything's clean as it should be. We've let this unit run for right around 10 minutes. And what we're going to be doing is we can feel the heat coming off this, which means it's pulling heat from inside through the refrigerator, and it's exhausting that heat off. We've got our gauges hooked up, and what we're doing here is we're getting a temperature pressure correlation between the refrigerant line before it's entering our outdoor condensing unit and as it's leaving our outdoor condensing unit. The system is designed for a certain pressure temperature correlation, and that's what we're going to be shooting for when we go to charge it. If it does need to have a refrigerant added, that's something that we can discuss prior to doing. A lot of times there's other underlying causes that a combination of everything that we've discussed in the earlier portion of the video, it could be causing your system not to cool properly, rather than just coming out here and putting refrigerant in your system. Maintaining the system indoor and outdoor, that's what the preventative maintenance program offers you, is to make sure that this is running properly, your indoor unit's running properly, thermostat's working. That's basically what we have to offer. My name is Colby Cooke. If you have any questions and want me to come and look at your system, feel free to give me a call at 336-710-6885. I'll have my number down in the link below. And also, if you want to reach out to me through Facebook, Colby Cooke on Facebook. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, give you a price on coming out and doing the preventative maintenance on your system. and also looking at any other thing that you might have a question on, whether it be the setup of your system or insulating your duct lines, or maybe looking to add something more to your house.